soldiers fighting right now. Looks like he already got punched on the nose right there.
Just a little curious as to why we come out with a little tape across the nose. He looked like he might have been in a combatives match prior to tonight. Trying to keep the distance. As we heard earlier, Chavez was in a...
Olson in the red and Hughes in the blue.
And still no position. Trying to underhook the arm.
And Specialist Olson is actually an 11 Bravo, an infantryman from Portland, Maine, with the 108th Training Command. Now, you're from the 108th,
That's my old home. That's our stomping ground. 2nd of 323rd, Lumberton, North Carolina. Moving on to Fort Gordon, Georgia, MI Battalion.
And we have Specialist Kyle Hughes from the 416th Theater Engineer Command. He's from Worcester, Ohio, and he's an interior electrician.
Notice no one's been awarded points yet because there hasn't been a takedown yet. They haven't left their feet. So this is a pretty interesting match here. They're trying to still size up one another, trying to judge which way I can take them, which way I can throw them, which way I can push them or pull them to get the takedown, and let's start the match on the mat.
It's good, and I've noticed they have some mouth guards in too, Sergeant Major, so they do have some protection.
There is some safety involved with all this, and if the official sees that there's an unsafe act, he'll call it and make sure that we reset, regroup, and that's, as you notice, he becomes a buffer between the wall and the opponents.
Right. And Olson in red and Hughes in blue. Still just feeling each other out.
He's hooked the head. He hooked the head. Notice when he hooked the head, he gained advantage because he now had control of the upper half. And notice he swung them hips to hips. And now he's working in. He's trying. Remember, the hip to hip. You sink them hips. Your chest to chest. You keep your weight down. Keep your weight low. And now he's in the side mount.
Can you tell me what exactly is the side mount? And how does that help?
If you notice on his elbow is in the head, so he can control the movement of the head, and you notice that foot, the knee is trying to control the hip. He's got that knee up in against the hip to control the movement and the turning of the hips.
Right, so that's Hughes on top right there in the blue. Hughes with the 416 Theater Engineer Command.
And now he's in the mount, and as you notice, he's trying to turn the hip so he can gain that advantage, so he can turn the opponent on the high side. He's trying to reach across the neck, as you've seen before tonight. The cross collar choke has been quite the favorite of the fans tonight and of the wrestlers tonight.
Looks like Olson's just trying to squirm out of there, do everything he can to just try to gain back the advantage from his opponent.
Okay, if you notice, Hughes is trying to work across. At one time, he was trying to work that bent arm bar.
Now it looks like he's going for that choking, and he's reaching inside the collar right there.
He's trying to work, and that was a good match. About half the mat spent on their feet, about the other half of the mat spent on the mat, trying to work a move, either it be a submission hold or a choke.
Oh, it looks like Specialist Hughes moves on. Specialist Hughes with the 416th Theater Engineer Command. So both the 416th Theater Engineer Command soldiers just moved on. We saw them both fight, and both of them moved on.
Look like they've done a good job of implementing MACP into their PT program, into their daily regimen of training, which all units should do.
We got Sergeant Patterson in red, and it looks like Sergeant Stoltz in the blue coming up here. And Sergeant Stoltz is from Rockford, Illinois, with the 108th Training Command. Another shout out to you, Sergeant Major. Rockford, Illinois, representing the 108th Training Command. And Sergeant Stoltz is in the blue.
Okay, that was a quick takedown by Sergeant Stoltz. And now Patterson's trying to keep a little space between them. If you know he's trying to push his chest off, and he's worked him into the guard, then a half guard. You notice how he's trying to hold on to that leg with crossing his legs.
And Sergeant Patterson is from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, representing the 80th Training Command, and he is a chemical operations specialist. So Patterson in the red and Sergeant Stoltz in the blue.
He's trying to scissor out. Patterson's doing a good job of keeping his weight low, keeping his hips on him. Now he's trying to break that guard. If you know, he's trying to push on that high side leg so he can get to it. He's underhooked the head. and they look like they're trying to work their way off to the mat.
And as a matter of fact, on blue there, Sergeant Stoltz is a drill sergeant, as a matter of fact. He's also a combatives instructor. So
How
he's
about that being a drill sergeant?
he's like yourself, Sergeant Major. I see the drill sergeant patch on.
I think we could take him anywhere. Okay, they're going to reset in the same position that they've rolled off the mat. With Stoltz trying to work the arm bar, if he can swing it over. What this is, he's trying to break it. Now he has to reset. Okay, reset. And goes, he's trying to get it. And now he's in the side mount. Okay, so you notice that the blue was awarded points for all that motion, and because he ended up in the side mount.
And Sergeant Stoltz on top in the blue right there. He's actually also pursuing a degree in criminal justice, a little sidebar. Educated as well as strong, it looks like.
Studying and fighting, what a great combination. Might use it at some of them colleges and universities.
Uh-oh, it looks like he's looking for an arm bar there.
He's trying to plant it. Notice he's going to push the elbow next to his neck so his head can't turn into the arm bar. Oh, he's at the arm bar. We saw that move earlier.
Yeah, just like that.
It just worked just exactly like that, where he was trying to work the bent arm bar, and he let go of the bent arm bar, and he worked his way across into the arm bar. What a great move. We saw it twice tonight.
Twice already, and Sergeant Stoltz moves on in the blue. So we're moving back over to the enlisted mat. And looks like they're getting ready.
Ladies and
Back in
gentlemen,
their
please
corners.
draw your attention to
Back
our
off into the corners, and they're getting ready. They'll start on the up position.
in blue, coming out.
And it looks like in the red we have Pelletier, and in the blue we have Amenta. And Pelletier in the red is from the 3rd Medical Deployment Support Command. So he's representing. He's a 68 Whiskey, so he's a combat medic as well.
Pelletier brought him close, brought him into him. He lost balance. Looked like he lost his balance. Uh-oh. Not really sure which one of the wrestlers is trying to do the takedown. He's trying to work from their rear takedown. Sink his head.
And Specialist Amenta there, who's in the blue, he's actually part of an Army band. He's an Army band's person.
Hey, fantastic. It takes all kinds to run the United States Army.
So he's representing the 94th Army band. Oh,
that was a good throw. What a great throw. Uh-oh, he's got the neck like we saw earlier. He's trying to get the neck, but he broke it, sinking the hips. So the
Specialist Amenta is married and has 2 daughters as well. He's in the blue on top right there. Looks like they're a little bit off the mat. Ref's trying to pull him back on a little bit.
What he was waiting to do was to wait for the move to finish, and what he's doing is waiting for the move to finish. And because if he was in the motion of a move, the points would be scored. So the officials trying not to interrupt the ebb and flow of the match.
And in the blue, we also have another smart gentleman. He has a bachelor's degree in criminology and law.
Well, he might be a police officer, might be a probation officer. What a great guy. He takes in the reserves, you meet all kinds from every background, students to professionals. And it's amazing. Oh, that armbar. Notice he stood up before he stood up. That was a defense for the armbar. He knew it was coming, so he stood up. And he's trying to stack him. If you notice, he's trying to push his weight down on top of him so he can release that armbar, but he hasn't let go of it yet. Okay.
That would have been our 3rd one this today. That would have been a quick end to a fight.
But he had a great defense for him. He stood up to the base, to his feet, and what a great job of defense. Now, if you notice, he's trying to work that collar. Okay.
Cement on the bottom in the blue and Pelletier on top in the red. It's like he's throwing that forearm right down into his throat, and that's got to be hard to breathe.
But you can see just by the strain on his face that there's some oxygen being lost, not being inhaled by the body, making it that much more difficult to carry on this fight. But notice now he's trying to work them legs together so he can make a choke with the triangle. And notice he's trying to work that foot. Okay, here it comes. If he could stick that foot, now he's going to push that arm under. He's grabbing the head. Man, he almost had him in the
Wow,
choke.
that was close.
He
That was
almost had him
very
in a
close.
triangle leg choke.
Now, who do you think that goes to, Sergeant Mayer? Is that pretty even?
That was an interesting match. That was an interesting match.
And Specialist Amenta, he advances, and that was a great match.
Sometimes even the announcers get involved in the match,
And that was the Army bands person
hey, that was great.
who went ahead and continued.
In red, Elliott. In blue, Alexander.
Now we're going to see, this is the second round, but this is the first time both of these competitors have fought. So in red, we have Sergeant Elliott, and in blue, we have Sergeant Alexander.
Be interesting to see a little bit of fresh blood out here tonight, giving them the exchange. Alexander tries to do the fall down takedown, and now all of a sudden.
Now Alexander, as I recall, he actually won the 2-mile run, and he placed very well in the ruck march. So you know that he's fit and he's got the cardio, but does he have the strength? I guess that's the question. And Sergeant Alexander is representing the 96th, Sustainment Brigade. He's had 11 years in the military.
Gonna get some points for Red's gonna look like Red's gonna get some points for escaping that guard. Now he's got him in the side mount, right? Tried to work that arm. Look, he's working his arm. He's working. He had it posted. He had it worked. He had the elbow next to the neck. He had the wrist getting ready to be planted on the ground.
And Sergeant Elliott from Orlando, Florida, is an intelligence collector. So hopefully he'll collect a little bit more intelligence, maybe collect a win, maybe get one of those arm bars or those chokes.
And he's trying to sweep out. And if you notice, he's trying to get that leg underneath his belly. There you go.
And Sergeant Elliott on the red, he just jumped on top of him.
He got him in, and now he's in the mount. And you notice there's going to be some points awarded for being in the mount.
Oh, Sergeant Alexander flipped it over in the blue.
He's still in the guard. Okay. Notice no points were awarded. Okay. No points were awarded. Okay.
Now I see he's trying to get his elbows right down into his legs.
What
right
he's
there.
trying to do is break that guard. Okay, by unlocking the feet. Okay.
Looks like there's some blood already out there on the mat, right on Sergeant Alexander's head.
He broke that guard, so he was awarded some points. He's in the side mount, and now if he could get him in knee to belly, get some points. Here comes that triangle choke. If he could get that arm underneath there, okay. Okay. Now and he noticed because he reversed. He went from being in the side mount. Alexander was in the side mount, and it was rolled over. Elliott rolled it over to the mount. Notice no points were awarded yet because Elliott was already in the dominant position. Now he got points.
And Sergeant Alexander is an electronic maintenance chief from Salt Lake City, Utah. So it's not as hilly around here, but it's still doing well, it seems.
Sergeant Alexander was giving him that right arm. He's giving him that right arm. He was trying to work that bent arm bar, and now I think he sees it. Okay.
Now is that a technique maybe to trick your opponent into going for it, and then you have something else planned?
We've seen it twice tonight in that bent arm bar to that straight up to the arm bar, where they were trying to work in that bent arm bar, and then all of a sudden they went to the other side and worked the arm bar.
So this is very much a thinking man's sport. It takes physical endurance, as we've seen. It takes strength, but it also takes tactics, and you have to sort of outthink your opponent, it seems like.
Them young men are tired. You can see that Sergeant Alexander is going to come off the mat with a little bit of battle scar on his forehead.
And that looks like Sergeant Elliott in the red has advanced. So Sergeant Elliott advancing. And Sergeant Elliott is from the the Military
Ladies
Intelligence
and gentlemen, please stand
Readiness
for
Command.
pit number 2.
So we have the enlisted coming up.
In blue,
In red is Specialist Amenta, and in blue is Specialist Oakhorn. And you can hear somebody yelling, "Let's go, Oakhorn, come on." There's a lot of people, a lot of spectators, a lot of sponsors sitting around, a lot of...
Good takedown, good takedown. Blue was awarded the takedown. And now he's trying to work into the guard. They're off the mat. They're going to start in the original position. Okay, notice they start from the position that they rolled up in the mat. Trying to work the head. Okay. Look at that. Good sweep. Now he's trying to work the side mount.
So Specialist Oakhorn in the red there. He has a son, actually. Oakhorn in the blue. I'm sorry, Oakhorn is in the blue, and he has a son, and he's been in the military for 2 years.
And now he's trying to work an arm bar. Just maintaining position.
And an interesting little fact about Amenta. Here it comes again.
Here comes.
He's out.
And it was it.
And
he started working forward, and once he started working forward, the arm came out to the side, and he took full advantage of that free arm.
That's Oakhorn, Specialist Oakhorn winning it. But Amenta, an interesting fact was his father actually served in the Army Reserves in the same unit as him. So an interesting little side fact. He did not continue, and that was Specialist Oakhorn continuing on. Back over to the NCOs.
In blue, Zulsdorf. In red, Gonzalez.
And Sergeant Gonzalez is in red, and Sergeant Zulsdorf is in blue. And we've seen Sergeant Zulsdorf before. He fought earlier. This will be Sergeant Gonzalez's first fight.
Zulsdorf won by a chokeout in the first round, in his first bout. Let's see if he can kind of repeat that action.
And once again, Sergeant Zulsdorf, home is Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So he's a native boy. He's infantryman at the NCO Academy here. And Sergeant Gonzalez, who is in the red.
He's in the rear mount.
They're both sergeant first classes, both these have. Sergeant Gonzalez is from Yonkers, New York.
If you notice, he's trying to sink underneath that right arm. And he's trying to bring him back into him to get him into the rear mount.
And Sergeant Gonzalez in the red, it looks like he has a level 4 certification in combatives too.
This will be interesting.
Let's see if he puts some of those moves to use.
Sergeant Gonzalez is going to work him into the guard. If you notice, he's trying to work that collar. If you notice, he's trying to pull that collar, pulling it down and across the neck. Look, it's coming.
It is, and then I can see it's looks like a lot of small moves that just takes a lot of energy.
Looks like he's trying to work that arm bar. He's not letting go of the collar, so he's trying to figure out which one's going to be to his advantage. But if you notice, Zerndorf is trying to work out the back, trying to get into that position, trying to work the way into the side mount.